Hello everyone. Wish you a very good morning. I, Dr. Kalpesh Popat, welcome you all for today's webinar on basics of AI with latest trends and applications organized by Faculty of Computer Applications, Marwadi University, Rajkot. Today's speaker, Dr. Divyakant Meva, is a doctorate in computer science and having more than 20 years of experience in the education field. He is currently working as Associate Professor at Faculty of Computer Applications, Marwadi University, Rajkot. His areas of interest are biometrics, AI, and machine learning. This webinar will cover introduction to AI, history of AI applications domains, current trends of AI applications, and introduction to ML and DL. We'll provide you with an email where you can download your e-certificate for attending this webinar. We'll send you the e-certificate link within 5 working days. In case if you have any doubts during the session, kindly write your queries in the chat box, or we have enabled question answers point in the Google Meet so that the expert will give the answers at the end of the session. Thank you all. Over to Dr. Divyakant Meva.
Good morning to all. Thank you, Kalpesh sir, for your kind introduction about me. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir, you are audible perfectly.
Okay, fine. So let us start with today's session on artificial intelligence with latest trends and applications. So let me start the session with what I can say that let us start with the concepts of movies. Right. So this is somewhat different compared to the other sessions. By and large, with the other topics, the people will be directly starting from the concepts, but I'll be starting from an introduction to a few of the movies which were released in the decade of 2000. The movie poster which I'm right now showing is something about AI, that is artificial intelligence, and this movie was released in 2001 by Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg, that name is very known to almost everyone, and his movie directions include this ET, if you have heard about that particular movie, External Terrestrials. There's something about AI, that is artificial intelligence, and this movie was talking about a robot, a humanoid, which was a design. Actually, in the movie, that has been shown that the picture is of 22nd century, and there is a humanoid called David. David was prepared, or that was manufactured or designed by a group of scientists, and then after one of the family whose son was having some physical issues, and he was admitted in the hospital. So to have a kind of support of the child, or to have a feeling of the child, they adapted David. And then after the David, initially he was not having the feelings, but at later stage he was able to develop a feeling for his mother. But at the same time, his mother was not having that kind of feeling for a robot or a humanoid. So what is happening that at later stage, when their real son is getting cured from the hospital, now he is coming to the home, and then after again there is a kind of clash of the feelings in between the David and the real son. And once when there was a kind of party which was going on in the home, David tries to just get the real son into the pool, and he is forcing him to just be there at the in-depth area of the pool. So he was trying to just kill him, but it was just because of a feeling. What feeling he was having? He was always struggling for a kind of feeling from his mother, but actually he was not getting. Right. So this movie actually was giving the idea that how artificial intelligence will get developed in 22nd century, and the humanoids will be behaving like the real man or the real person, right? So initially, the David was arguing that he should be having some feeling, and he should be adapted as the real man, but the society was not accepting his platform or his stand. And at the end of the movie, when actually now they are showing that, okay, fine, it was a kind of snowstorm where the whole thing is getting vanished, and now even there is also a companion of this David, and that is a teddy bear. So teddy bear was also having a kind of feeling. So David was thinking that only teddy bear is the one who is actually his companion, right? So then they are showing that it is now 23rd century, and then after everything has been vanished, and David was not able to even understand that even his family has also been vanished. So he was searching for his mother, and he requested to this group of scientists that can you just again make her alive. Then those people were not able to do that thing for a long period, but just because the teddy was having a hair of his mother, and from that particular what I can say that from that particular object, or the scientists were able to create an impression of his mother, and they allowed David to live for just 24 hours with his mother, and his mother at the end of that particular 24 hours or that day says to David that, yes, I love you, and I'm really treating like you like my real son, and you are the real person. So this is how they have shown that in the 22nd century, and the robots or the humanoids will be behaving like. So it has been shown that they'll be having the real feelings, and they will be insisting for their actual physical existence like the human being. So this was very heart touching story. The same thing was there with another movie that was released in 1998, and that was talking about uh, a humanoid or a robot which was being created for house cleaning and the other stuffs. And the
Meva sir,
character was being played.
Meva sir,
Yes.
sorry to disturb you in between. Actually, your voice is fluctuating. Sometimes it
Okay.
is very much clear, sometimes it is very low. So
Okay.
please
Okay.
try to
I'll
adjust it.
try. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So this character was being played by Robin Williams, a very well-known actor of the Hollywood, and the name of the movie was Bicentennial Man, and that was again about the feelings of a robot. Another movie, again, if you just see, that was released in the year 2002 or 2004, I don't remember exactly, and that was I, Robot, starring Will Smith. And this movie was again focusing on uh, the army of the robots, right? And initially, that was being created to just save the human being, but at later stage, they themselves develop their own understanding and their intelligence, and just because of that they they just became the enemies of the human being, right? So such kind of concepts were developed in early 2000 years, or early decade, early years of the decade 2000, and nowadays we are able to see that now it has become a reality, right? If you see about the recent projects which were launched by the Facebook, that was about the artificial agents which can communicate with each other, and that project was initiated by Facebook. Uh, what happened with that project, that those two agents were they became so smart that they developed their own language, for communication with each other. And the scientists who were working on that particular project, they were not even able to understand that language, and just because of that they thought that, okay, fine, this may result into a very disastrous thing. And that's why the Facebook abandoned that project immediately, right? So this is what I want to say, that now we are already in the era of artificial intelligence. And if you see just today's newspaper as well as yesterday's newspaper, the person who is responsible for creation of chat gpt or GPT-4, or I can say that GPT simply, he met our prime minister Shri Narendra Modi, and he was discussing about the Indian IT industry and the possibilities of adoption of artificial intelligence, or the research work in the domain of artificial intelligence in the IT industry. He himself has just he is actually, I can say that, worried about the emergence of AI and how that will be negatively affecting our lives. Though AI is, as far as the efficiency is concerned, it is 100% more efficient, 100 times more efficient than the human being. At the same time, it is also affecting the human being or our human society in a negative way, and that will directly affect in terms of job cuts. Right, so that we have already seen in recent years, that, or you may have just gone through various news that how the companies are thinking about some mechanized jobs, or the jobs which are repetitive in nature, and that can be performed with the help of this GPT. What I can say, that generative pre-trained transforms, right? So what I can say, that now there is a case of number of tools and technologies which will overtake the task which right now at this stage we are doing, right? And just because of that, it is possible that almost 50% of the workforce will be eliminated from the industry. So in this way, that's very much harmful to our society. But at the same time, another area is emerging, and that is called ethical aspects of the AI, or I can say that ethical AI, right? What he has also suggested, the person who has created this GPT, that's about some rules and regulations or controlling things should also be applied with these artificial intelligence practices in the society. Right. So this is something about introduction of AI and what is right now going on in our society as far as AI is concerned. So let us now start our today's session. So in today's agenda, we'll be covering this many number of topics if possible. So the first thing is what is artificial intelligence? So then we will look at the historical aspects of modern AI. Modern AI means the emergence of artificial intelligence after 1950s. Then where AI is right now at this stage, what are the AI domains? Then why we need to have AI, then soft computing and artificial intelligence, and then after we will move ahead with the concept of machine learning and deep learning, and we will see the usage of deep learning. Basically, this is not machine learning. Basically, that will be the demonstration of deep learning, how deep learning things are working, specifically in the domain of image processing, right? So let us start with today's session. The first thing is about what is AI. AI is a buzzword nowadays, almost everything. Wherever you are going, the people will be talking about AI. Specific, I'm not talking about the people who are there in rural areas, but the people who are indirectly or directly connected with IT industry. I'm talking about only those people. So they are always talking about AI and the side effects of AI, or what is happening or what is going on currently in the artificial intelligence domain. So it is an attempt of reproduction of human reasoning and intelligent behavior by the computational methods. And if you refer the book of Knight and Rich, so Alan Rich has given the definition of AI in a way like AI is the study of programs at which at the moment people are doing better. So we want to have the systems which can have some sort of intelligence, and now we want to transfer few of the tasks which right now at this stage humans are doing, and this task, if that can be performed by the system in a very well manner with more efficiency and more effectiveness, we want to have such kind of things. Actually, if you see, the intention of artificial intelligence was not like about removal of the human being from the task force. No, it was actually about shifting few of the tasks which right now at this stage we are doing, but we are wasting our efforts, or we can focus on other stuffs which are more important to us, and some of the repetitive tasks or where actually not that much intelligence is required, that should be shifted to the systems which are equipped with artificial intelligence. So another author has said that AI is about writing intelligent programs. And one more definition also you can think about is AI is about building entities which can understand, perceive, predict, and manipulate like humans do. So in whatever way we are doing our things, in the same way, the system should think, they can behave in the same way. So there's something about the definitions of AI which have been given, various definitions of AI which have been proposed or given by different authors. Now let us see about, or let us have a discussion on two different aspects. The first one is difficult programs, and the second one is intelligent programs. Now let us think about two different tasks which at this stage we are doing always, and these tasks are actually being done in an easy way by the human being. The first one is brushing the teeth, and the second one is picking up a chalk stick. Considering the human being, there is nothing novel in doing such kind of task. That's a very routine thing, and even a child can do this thing. But when there comes a case of implementing such kind of things with the robots, right, then it is not that much possible. Now they should be equipped with some sort of intelligence, that suppose they want to brush their teeth, then first thing is that how to first of all identify the object which is called brush, how to pick up that object, or how to pick up the brush, and then after again how to just put it with on your teeth. Now here there are a number of aspects. The reason is everything is there in three-dimensional domain, right? So the coordinates will be there, x, y, and z coordinates will be there, and the robot has to first of all perceive the surrounding, and it has to pick up the object. And again, when it is picking up the object, how much pressure is to be given, and what particular angle it is to be picked, and with which particular fingers or even actuators that should be picked up. So everything is to be calculated. It's not so easy for any of the robot to apply such kind of things. We have seen a number of videos in which actually when the robots are playing with the football, or they are playing some other games, right? And every year such kind of competitions are also getting organized in USA as well as some other countries, and a number of companies, they are participating in such kind of competition. So is it so easy for any of the robot to play the football? No, that is not that much easier. Just like, say for example, my kid is of just a 3.5-year old, so he knows very well, whenever I'm asking that, okay fine, kick the football and target that particular door, so you have to apply the kick with the force in such a way that it should reach first of all the door, and the door should be heated centrally only, right? So now suppose he knows very well, because he is having continuous practice and every day he is doing this kind of things. So he can easily kick the football with as much as pressure, through which it can easily reach the door, and the door will be heated in a central portion. So he knows very well. But and that is very easy task for him. But at the same time, suppose if you want to have the same task to be done by the robots, it's very crucial. It's very complex. It's not that much easier. So now there comes the case of intelligent programs, right? So the task which right now at this stage we are doing so easily, if the same task is to be done by the robots, it's very complex. In the same way for picking up a chalkstick. So picking up a chalkstick, is it so easy? For my kid, it's very easy. But when I want to apply the same tasks to be done by the robot, it's very tough. The reason being, how much pressure is to be given to that particular chopstick. That's very important thing. Otherwise, that will automatically get broken. Right. At the same time, at what particular angle it should be picked up so that the robot will be able to write with that chalk stick on the book. So that's also very tough. Right? So there are too many aspects. It's not just about a three-dimensional movement of various objects or various humanoid parts, but it is also about the pressure and some other matters. Right? So it is a domain where you have to think about mechanical engineering, you have to think about electrical engineering, you have to think about physics, you have to think about mathematical aspects, you have to think about the vision and perception and so on. So when you're talking about artificial intelligence, it is a mixture of number of domains. It involves philosophy, it involves computer science, psychology, neural science, biology, mathematics, sociology, physics, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, electromechanical engineering, and so on. And when you are combining all these stuffs, then you'll be having a successful artificial intelligence program. Right? So let us again talk about a few other aspects. Let us talk about a few other things. So playing chess and playing TT. Now these two are two different domains of the game. When you're talking about chess, playing chess, it's a kind of board game. So if you want to develop a program which can play chess with you, it's not that much tough or it is not that much complex. No, I'll explain how much complexity is there when you are designing a master chess. But at this stage, when we are talking about a board game and a game which is to be played in three-dimensional environment, then both are different. It is easy. It is easy to design a playing chess compared to designing a robot which can play table tennis with you. Right? Because when you're talking about table tennis, and if the opponent is a robot, first of all, it is very tough to identify that with which speed that ball is coming, which has been just pushed by the opponent, and in which direction it is coming, with which force it is coming, and where it will collide. So it has to place itself in such a way that it will collide with his bets, right? So the first thing is about how the robot will move himself in such a way that the shot will not get skipped. Right? So designing a robot which will play with you the table tennis game, it's very tough compared to designing uh, a computer-based system which can play a chess with you. Right? So this is again a second scenario. The third scenario is about the current trend, which is again very much popular, or is it's a kind of buzzword nowadays. That's about ChatGPT. So ChatGPT 4 that has been recently introduced, and previously it was ChatGPT 3, and recently the Google has also introduced Bard. Right, so they both are in competition with each other. The Google thought that how can we far behind from the Microsoft, because Microsoft has already acquired OpenAI, and OpenAI is the company which has designed ChatGPT as well as DALI and some other things, right? So if you just see uh, as a human being, when you have been given a kind of a complete document from which you need to summarize the content and you have to put it on paper in terms of an abstract, uh, it will not be that much tough for you because you understand very well that what has been written and how can you summarize that thing. But when there comes the case of any computer-based system to apply the same task of summarization or preparing an abstract, it's very tough, right? Because it has to refer not many documents which are actually related with that particular area. And then after again, there will be two different domains which are involved here when you're talking about such kind of applications. The first one is natural language processing, and the second one is machine learning. When you are, it is not just an application of machine learning, but it is also an application of deep learning, because there are a number of different algorithms which are being used when you are designing such kind of applications, like generative pre-trained transforms, right? So ChatGPT is using GPT basically. The BARD is having the same kind of things. So this is again another domain which is nowadays in talk. So this is something uh, basic about the artificial intelligence and right now where it is. Another thing, again, if you see here, that's a very simple problem. Suppose you are asking your kid to just arrange the blocks based on this alphabetical sequence. Then for him or her, it will be very easy. Say, for example, here, this is initial situation and this is the goal state. Or I can say that this is start state and this is goal state. This is again a kind of artificial intelligence problem only, and that is called block problem. And there was a specific domain called Strips domain, which was being designed at Stanford University to resolve such kind of issues or such kind of problems, or to define the solutions of such kind of problems in the initial stages. So what is to be done here? We know very well that C again should be just picked up by this mechanical arm, and that should be grounded. And then after, what is to be done, that you have to pick up a B, and that should be just put on a C. And then after, again, you have to pick A, and then it is to be put on B, right? So it's a very simple thing, and within only 3 steps, you can easily do that thing. But when there comes the case of a computer-based system to solve such kind of issues, or let us say that you're having a robot, and robot has to do such kind of things, right? Then will it be easier? No. It requires a lot many efforts. It has to first of all understand that what is this thing, right? And then after, again, again it has to apply various steps or various permutations with which it can identify that which step is leading it towards the goal state, right? So because there will be many possibilities. Say, for example, you can just pick up C and put it on ground, or you can pick B and put it on C, or you can have some other steps also, right? So which step will lead this process towards the solution, that is to be identified. And actually that's a case of searching, artificial intelligence based searching, and that is basically called heuristic search. So heuristic search is involved in this process, and with the help of planning. Actually, another domain which is again involved here is artificial intelligence domain, which is involved here is called plan, right? So there are a number of methods. Say, for example, forward state space planning or backward state space planning, or you can have some other mechanisms like plan space planning or goal state planning, right? So all these mechanisms can be used over there. Not every mechanism, but they are having their own pros and cons. So whichever is quite more efficient, that can be used here to resolve such kind of problems. So block problem can be solved with the help of various search strategies of artificial intelligence, along with some planning mechanism of artificial intelligence. But that is not so simple like a normal kid can also do. So it requires intelligence to be built within your robot with the help of coding or the programs, right? So this is what we have seen as far as introduction to artificial intelligence is concerned. Let us move ahead with the historical aspects of AI. If you see the modern history of the AI, it started in the decade of 1940s, when in the year of 1943, McCulloch and Pitts, they defined a concept of a perceptron. Right? So perceptron, again, it's a terminology which is getting used in artificial neural network domain. So they define a Boolean circuit model of the brain. So what kind of input is going to be provided, and when you are applying the circuit, what kind of output can again be generated. Such kind of simulation they applied with the help of those perceptrons. Then comes the case of Turing test. So Alan Turing, in the year of 1950, he defined computing machinery and intelligence. I'll talk about that thing later once I'll cover this particular slide. So this was the first decade when the modern AI gets started. Then in the domain, sorry, in the decade of 1950s to 1970, so those 2 decades, they were quite more focusing on the development of artificial intelligence. So in 1950s, early AI programs, including Arthur Samuel's checkers program, as well as Neville and Simon's logic theories, as well as Galanter's geometry engine. These all were initially launched in 1950s. Uh, what systematic process suggests is that the first meeting, or I guess that first conference about artificial intelligence was organized in 1956 at Dartmouth, in the University of Dartmouth, and their major focus on the concept of artificial intelligence. And this was the year, or this was the conference when Arthur Samuel proposed his program Checkers. Right. So Checkers is also a game, and it is similar to chess, but it is not that much complex like a chess. But still, it is having complexity. So Arthur Samuel designed a logical program for playing a checkers game. Right? And the height was that he implemented the concept of machine learning first time in the year of 1956 with this checkers program. And the program was capable enough to learn from the previous games or based on the experience. And after few years, this checkers program beat, or it had beaten, the Arthur Samuel. Right? So he was the first person to see such kind of growth, or what I mean say that the development in the domain of artificial intelligence and gaming. Right? So that was the first thing, which we can say that it was really a success in the domain of artificial intelligence. So during those 20 years, the focus was quite there in the various universities of USA, and majorly they were attracting the innovations or the development in the domain of gaming. So gaming was supported. Specifically, this was about block games or board games. I can say board games, right? So it was not about the gaming in terms of this three-dimensional aspects or gaming with the robots. No, it was only about board games, right? And they defined various searching strategies also, just like mini-make search and so on. So that was the first. That was something about the first 2 decades where actually AI has grown up. Right? So then after there came the case of 1970 to 1990. So these 2 decades, they were focusing on another domain of artificial intelligence, and that is called knowledge-based systems. So the first success of designing knowledge-based system was about mycin. Mycin was designed at Stanford University to deal with various blood-related diseases, and that was quite successful compared to the human being, or what we can say that compared to the doctors' diagnosis capabilities, mycin was more effective, and its success ratio was at about 65%, which was quite higher compared to any other human doctor. Right. So these 2 decades, they were focusing on the knowledge-based system and gaming also. During the same time, the gaming was quite popular. But there was a boom on designing various knowledge-based expert systems from 1980s to 1988. But then after, there was a bust in this boom. Right? And then after, there was a fall. And since 1990s till 2000, and this 10 years, AI was almost in a very silent mode. Hardly there was a focus on the development of AI. Then after, from the year 2010, again, it took its speed. Right? So even when I was pursuing my PG studies, I had undergone with subject in the year of 2001. But then I've seen the downfall of artificial intelligence in even academic industry also. Specifically considering the Indian universities, most of the universities, they omitted the subject of artificial intelligence from their curriculum. And then suddenly from 2015 onwards, again, there was an introduction about the subject of artificial intelligence and also about machine learning. So, machine learning, we will not talk right now at this stage, but we are more focused on artificial intelligence. So, you can think that after the decade of 2010, okay, the speed has been picked up by IT industry for the development in the domain of IT industry. Sorry, artificial intelligence, right? So now let us see that where right now AI is. Right? So before that, okay, fine. Let us move ahead with where we are in terms of AI right now. So let us talk about the first program that is called SkyCat. It is a system for automatically classifying terabytes of data from the space telescopes and identifying interesting objects in the sky. This is more accurate than the human being, because we people, when we are observing various images which have been retrieved by the Hubble telescope from various Earth stations, we are not at all that much able to identify various planets or various Milky Ways. No. But the artificial intelligence systems, they are quite capable enough to identify new objects in the planet, right? So that's quite more capable enough to just analyze the images which have been captured by the Hubble telescope, and identifying the objects of the interest of the human being, right? So this is quite far better than the human being. The other one is Deep Blue, that we will talk about at later stage also. But this was the first program uh, to defeat the chess champion Gary Kasparov. And then another one is Pegasus. It is a speech understanding program that's also a kind of travel agent. Then we have Jupiter, which is weather information system. We have HipNav. That's a kind of robot which is performing hip replacement surgery. So that's quite interesting. So in future, it's possible that most of the surgeries will be taken care by the robots, and the doctors will be simply guiding the robots how to perform those surgeries in some sort of complex situations. Nevlab is again another kind of AI program which was designed by Ford, a Ford Escort that steered itself from Washington DC to San Diego, and 90% of the way it was driven by itself. Right, and the human was not intervening in 98% of the way. Only for 2% of the distance, the human intervention was required. That's it. So this is how we can understand that how much progress has been done in terms of this uh, automated motoring also, or driverless cars also, right? So another one is Google News. Almost every day, whenever I'm opening my eyes, I'll be first of all reading the newspaper, but I'm not reading the newspaper like Divya Bhaskar or whatsoever. But instead of that, I'll be first of all going to the Google Chrome, and then after I'll be searching for various news, because Google Chrome, when you are just applying the tick mark for generating Google News, it will try to fetch the news from different areas of the world, or what can I say, that different newspaper agencies which are providing the news online, and it will be collecting them, and then after that will be shown to you, right? So it is totally it is accumulating the news based on your interest, and this is again continuously changing, right? So whatever category of news you are watching or you are reading, based on that it will try to find out the news from the net, right? So that's a very important thing. The next is about DSI. It's a kind of NASA spacecraft that did an autonomous flyby by the asteroid. Then sightseer, those who are in the domain of research or regularly publishing their news, sorry, articles in various journals, they might be knowing about sightseer. So sightseer is automatically classifying and indexing the research papers, right? And the next thing is about AlphaGo. AlphaGo, again, we will talk about AlphaGo at later stage also. It's a kind of program that will play Chinese game of the Go, and it has beaten the grandmaster called Lee Sedol with a score of 4:1. Right? So this is how they have made it so intelligent. Now let us move ahead with our next topic, that's about AI domains. So let us see what are these AI domains. The first one is natural language processing, which nowadays is a very much popular. Or what I can say that in the domain of research also, more and more number of people they are trying to work on this particular domain. The next is again having a similar interest of the researchers, that is vision or the perception. Robotics, as I have already told. Then logic building, game playing, decision making, and machine learning. These all are the AI domains or subdomains. Now let us see about all these domains in brief. So let us start with the first, that is natural language processing. So here, when you're talking about natural language processing, we are again having two different categories of the systems. The first one is speech technologies, and the second one is language processing technologies. When you talk about speech technologies, I think all of you are quite familiar with Amazon Alexa as well as Apple Siri. So how they are dealing with whatever requests have been provided by you. So you are asking Siri that Siri play this thing, or Siri give me the answer of this particular question or something like that. And in the same way, you are also dealing with the Alexa. So how this kind of software are working? They are actually working with the concept of natural language processing. So here we are having different domains like automatic speech recognition, text to speech synthesization, as well as dialogue system. So now here, when you're talking about dialogue system, we are having chatbots, and the chatbots, they have been defined, or they have been developed with so much intelligence that now they are removing almost a complete human task force from the companies for the purpose of this customer care. Basically, customer care nowadays being taken care by and large by such kind of dialogue systems or chatbots. Right. So we don't now require the human being. Previously, if you see in the decade of 2010, there was a hype in the jobs of call centers, right? So too many call centers were there, and they were also paying a very good salary to the human being. But nowadays the whole scenario has changed, and the concept of call centers that has been vanished, and how to deal with the customers, or how to just answer with the problems of the customers, that is being taken care with the help of such kind of chatbots. Right? Or let us say that you are going or you're visiting any of the site of a particular company or any organization, then they are also providing the support of the chatbots. You have to simply ask the question, and the answers will be provided by those chatbots. Right? So dialogue systems have been developed, and they are quite effective also. And the major thing is that they are available 24 by 7. Right. It is not having any kind of restriction like the human being, where the human will be only working for 8 hours or 10 hours. No, you will not be requiring any of the human being. At the same time, you'll be serving the customer 24 by 7 as far as their complaints are concerned. Right? So this is how this domain has developed itself. The next thing is about language processing technologies, where question answering will be there, machine translation, web search, and text classification. Specifically, this one is more important nowadays, right? So because nowadays we'll be getting many mails. In this mails, too many number of mails we'll be getting in our inbox, and when we surf this, or when we search this, or when we explore, or when we explore this mailboxes, we'll be having too many spams or spam mails. Now, if you see this spam mails, hardly that will be in the portion of your genuine mails. They are getting filtered, right? So on which basis they are getting filtered? For that, they are actually considering the concept of text classification, and they are having designed with the help of spam filters. So they are continuously applying machine learning concepts, and they are learning that whether the text which is embedded as a part of your mail, it is fake, or it has been sent to too many people, so there are more chances of the fraud or whatsoever things, right? So this is how language processing technologies are also helping the human being. The next is about vision or the perception. Nowadays, again, whenever we are crossing this toll plazas, we are having HSRP, right? So high security number plates are there, and they're getting read, and based on that, automatically your FASTag will get connected with that, and the amount will be debited from your FASTag deposit, right? So here, a very simple thing is about vision processing. At the same time, different countries now, what they are doing is to just control the crime rates. What they are doing is they have implemented CCTV cameras on almost every street, and their systems, surveillance systems, they are continuously searching for any kind of crime activity in different areas. And suppose if they are finding any kind of clue for emergence of such kind of criminal activity, automatically police department will be informed and the actions will be taken immediately. So just because of that, quite a more effective controlling of the crime is there, right? So now, just because of this, again, they are not requiring too many number of people in the police task force, but instead of that, the whole surveillance is being taken care by the artificial intelligence based image processing systems, or this surveillance systems, right? And the police department is only guided by the systems to take the preventive actions, right? So this is how the things are happening with the help of vision. It's not just about one thing, but there are different domains where this image processing or vision is getting applied. Say for example, wherever we are going on the crossroads, we'll be having traffic jams, and even the signals are not working in an effective way to control this traffic. So you can have some sort of dynamic ruling system to just control this traffic, that for how much time the traffic should be open on a particular side. So based on the density of the vehicles on particular side, the time should be allocated dynamically to that side. So such kind of things again are helpful to control such kind of traffics. Then the very mature technology of image processing is about biometrics. All of us, we are already knowing that how biometrics is getting applied for authentication and authorization in various domains, right? At the same time, in manufacturing industry also, when you want to identify the faulty objects or the objects which are having defects, then such kind of image processing technologies are already being used wherever you are going, whether it is about food manufacturing, or it is about manufacturing of the equipments, or if it is a drug manufacturing or medicine manufacturing, or wherever, right? So everything nowadays about just identifying the defects in the manufactured object, that is being taken care with the help of such kind of vision and image processing, right? A very simple application which you can again do is, let us say that you are an academician and you want to have a kind of attendance of the whole class. Then you can deploy the cameras, and the cameras will capture the images of the whole class, and based on that, the person identification will happen, and automatically his or her presence will be marked with the system. That's it, nothing else. So with just one click of the button, you can mark the attendance of the whole class. So such kind of things are, nowadays very popular. The next area is about robotics. We know very well that how the robots are getting used nowadays. So basically, robots nowadays, they are quite popular to work in the domains where hazards are more. So if you don't want to harm the human being, then definitely you can deploy the robots in those particular ways. Say, for example, mines have been just there beneath the earth, which have been spread over a very large region by the opponent country. Right. So then, suppose if you are deploying the army people over there, then there are more chances of mortality. But suppose if you are deploying the robots, then the robots can easily sense the areas beneath the earth or the objects which are lying beneath the earth, and they can diffuse such kind of mines. So these areas are the one where actually the robots can be used in a very well manner. At the same time, nowadays again, in number of countries, the old age people, they are feeling loneliness. So the robots have been designed in such a way that they will provide the company to such kind of aged people or old age people. So they'll be playing with them, they'll be talking with them, and so on, right? Or they can even dance with them also. Then automated cars or driverless cars. that's also nowadays is getting attention from the human being. Recently, or just 2 days back, I was reading the news about the drone taxis. So drone taxis, no doubt that the direction will be handled, can be handled by the human being, but at the same time, they can also be automated. So just because of too much traffic, suppose you want to have such kind or you want to use such kind of drone taxis, then also that will be quite popular in next few years. Right, so that will not be requiring too much space to just have the upliftment of the drone. No, that will be requiring very less space. At the same time, that can even fly at the height of near about 100 feet or so on, right? And that can just drop you at your workplace easily. So to just avoid the traffic, you can use this drone taxis in near future. So they all are enabled with artificial intelligence. And I have already told that how this football games are getting planned, or football competitions are planned for the robots also. So number of companies are also participating in such kind of things, right? So partial mechanical engineering, partial AI, reality much harder than the simulation, and example of Sophia. Okay, so let us think about Sophia. Sophia, I think it's a very well-known name in the domain of robotics. It's a humanoid which was designed by the Hansen Robotics from Hong Kong. And this is the image which you may have seen. And this humanoid was designed in February 2016. And the thing is that the citizenship of Saudi Arabia has been given to Sophia. Right. So Sophia's architecture includes various scripting softwares, a chat system, as well as open cognitive and AI system designed for general reasoning. So that makes it very much intelligent, not like a human being, but yes, up to some extent, the intelligence has been provided to Sophia. So Sophia imitates human gestures as well as facial expressions, and it is able to answer certain questions, not all the questions, but for what particular domain the knowledge has been fed into Sophia. Related to that, the answers can be provided. At the same time, it is also having machine learning module, which will be continuously learning based on the knowledge it is acquiring in a new way. Right. So to make it simple conversation or predefined topics, it is using a speech recognition technology of Alphabet, that is the parent company of the Google, and it can emulate near about 60 facial expressions, and even it can sing also. So this is how the advancements are there in the domain of robotics. So this is what I was talking about, the first slide, that was about artificial intelligence movie, the, uh, just produced by Steven Spielberg in the year of 2001. So we can expect that in the decade of 2040, such kind of robots will be there, and they'll be assisting the human being, or sometimes it is possible that they will be a part of the family of the humans. Right. The next domain is about logic. So nowadays, there are a number of logical systems through which you can prove the theorems or any of the propositions. Then NASA has designed some sort of fault diagnosis system through which, if you are having some sort of international space station which is there in the sky. So if suppose there are some faults which are getting emerged, then the diagnosis may happen with the help of such kind of AI based system, and the point where actually the fault has occurred, that can easily be found out. In the same way, let us say that you want to identify the fault with the networks, right? So that can easily be find out with the help of such kind of AI based system, by simply applying various algorithms, at the same time analyzing the packets which are getting sent and received back, right? Then question answering, that's also a domain where logic is getting used. There are some methods also, say for example, you can use deduction systems or constraint satisfaction things, or satisfiability solver. So if you are working, or if you're learning the concepts of artificial intelligence, definitely you will be quite familiar with the concept of constraint satisfaction. So I'll not go in depth about constraint satisfaction because it's a completely a chapter in the subject of artificial intelligence. In the same way, there is a case of satisfiability solvers. Yes, this is one of the most popular domain of artificial intelligence, and that started in the year of 1956, where Arthur Samuel first designed the checkers program, and he himself was defeated by his designed program of checkers. It was not chess. Please remember, it was not. Please understand, it was not chess, but it was checkers, which was first designed using artificial intelligence. The next thing was about deep thought. David Levi, again, he was a grandmaster, but not at the level of Gary Kasparov. But in the year of 1968, he defeated uh, a chess which was designed by the company, and he just thrown a challenge that within next 10 years, not even single system will be there which will be capable enough to defeat him. And fortunately or unfortunately, he was quite right. It took almost 20 years to defeat David Levi with the help of a deep thought system, which was designed by IBM. Right? But still, deep thought was not capable enough to defeat Gary Kasparov and other grandmasters like Vishwanathan Anand. So they tried to improve it, and they designed Deep Blue. And in the year of 1997, Deep Blue defeated Gary Kasparov. So it took almost 8 years to make the changes with the existing system of Deep Thought and to defeat the Grandmaster Gary Kasparov. Then the next milestone is there in the game of Chinese game of Go. And Alphabet, that is Google, the parent company of Google, they designed AlphaGo. And this AlphaGo actually defeated Lee Sedol. He is having a capability very similar to Gary Kasparov in chess. Lee Sedol is a grandmaster of game of Go. So Lee Sedol was defeated by AlphaGo in the year of 2016. This is the game of AlphaGo, and this is your Deep Blue, and this is Deep Thought. Right? So this is how the game playing is also involving, or it is getting strengthened with the help of artificial intelligence. As far as decision making is concerned, the automation has been introduced in various areas like scheduling of airline routing as well as military agencies. Then route planning with the help of Google Maps, medical diagnosis. Nowadays, again, that's a very popular research domain, specifically on the basis of various medical reports or medical images. The doctors are capable enough to identify the cancers or the other diseases in a very early stage. And that is how the artificial intelligence is helping human society. Right? So search engines, they are also getting equipped with artificial intelligence, spam classifiers, which already I have talked about, then automated help desk, then fraud detection in terms of cybersecurity. That's also getting supported with the help of this artificial intelligence, and product recommendations. I think this is again almost known to everyone, because whenever we are surfing various e-commerce portals, we are finding various products at the bottom that which are very similar to our product, or they are the products which are by and large getting purchased in combination with each other. Right? So this product recommendation systems are designed, or they have been developed by various companies, and they are assisting the human being in their purchasing. Right? So this is for decision making. Now let us move ahead with the next topic, that's about need of AI. Why there is a need to have AI? The major thing is about combinatorial complexity. And to understand this topic, we will take the example of three different problems. The first one is a traveling salesman problem. The next is about playing the chess, and the next thing is about playing the game of Go. So let us see first of all about the traveling salesman problem, that how much it can be a complex one. So traveling salesman is a problem which is focusing on the people like a salespersons, and we know very well that the salesperson need to cover too many cities to sell their products, right? So it is possible that a person has been given near about 20 cities or 30 cities to be covered, and to target the people in those particular cities or distributors in those particular cities. So uh, when you want to cover all these cities with the minimal distance, how can you identify the path? How many possible solutions you can have, right? So for that, such kind of solutions have been identified and such kind of problems have been discussed. When you are having 7 cities to be covered and you want to identify the shortest path, it is possible that you will be having near about 360 possible solutions, right? And from those possible solutions, you have to identify the shortest path, right? In the same way, if you take the case of 10 cities, you'll be having near about 1 million permutations. And if you take the case of 20 cities, it is in terms of billions of permutations. And suppose if you are considering that near about 1 lakh permutations can be checked in 1 second, then if you are having 20 cities, it will take near about 3 lakh years to check all the permutations. So this is how a problem can be complex to get resolved. This is just a simple problem. That's about identifying the shortest path and considering 20 cities. But this case has been taken considering a simple processing capability of a laptop or a desktop system. But nowadays, with the emergence of new processors, the time, if you just see, this can be reduced by 100 times or 1000 times. So you can consider here as 385 years, right? So now let us move ahead with the next problem of chess. Chess has near about uh, 35 to the power 80 possible sequences of the move. And suppose you are having a master chess which is playing again a human being, then suppose if 1 million game states can be examined every second, and there is a branching factor of 10, which is not there. Actually, with the game of chess, there is a branching factor of 35, which has been shown here. But even if in the in the best case, if we consider the branching factor of 10, then also, and suppose if we are applying ply search, and in case we are having 6 ply search, right, then 6 moves will take near about 1 second. And if you are applying 12 ply search, it will take near about 11 days to evaluate all possible combinations of the moves. And suppose if you are applying 18 ply search, near about 32,000 years will be taken by your system to evaluate all those moves and to identify the best move. Right? So this is how a chess problem can be complex. But actually, there are a number of inventions, or what I can say, that advancements in this searching strategies also. And the scientists or the researchers, they are applying heuristic search with which they can reduce this searching up to a very drastic level. Right. So this is how it can also be resolved. So, considering the master chess of Deep Blue was capable enough of searching near about 300 million chess positions per second, which is quite, what I can say, that quite more uh, advanced compared to our desktop systems. So if you see this capability, then here we'll be requiring near about 32 years if we are applying 18 ply search with our Deep Blue system, right? But actually, as it is applying a heuristic search technique, so that's why the branching factor automatically will get reduced, and automatically the time will also get reduced, right? So this is the problem of chess. In the same way, if there is a case of the problem of Go, that's again more complex. If you just see the game of Go, it is having the branching factor of 250, and it is having the possible sequences of move, that's 250 to the power 150. If you see the total amount, this is even more than total number of atoms available on the earth, right? So you can see that how much complex can be the game of the Go. And when the Alphabet designed the game of Go, that is AlphaGo, it used a deep neural network architecture, and it was having 40 neuron layers, and AlphaGo was having 1920 processors. And with that, it was capable enough to defeat the Grandmaster Lee Sedol. Right. So this is what we are talking about, the exponential complexity, right, or combinatorial complexity. And just because of that, we want to have artificial intelligence with various domains. Right. There are some other areas also of the AI which we can say as soft computing. So soft computing is related with the a human being and the other creatures. So artificial intelligence scientists, they have taken the references or what I can say that the concepts they have taken from the human being as well as other creatures. Say for example, they have also taken the concept of ants. So ants, when they are searching for the food, they'll be following a particular path. Actually, they are releasing a chemical substance called pheromone. Right. So based on the intensity of pheromone, the other ants will be following a path of one particular ant. So if the intensity of the pheromone is quite higher, the other ants will follow that particular path, and if it is lesser, then that path will not be followed. So such kind of concepts again have uh, mm, they have actually uh, supported the human being to apply the concepts of self-computing in the area of artificial intelligence. It is not just one, but at the same time, they have adapted the concept of artificial neural network, which is mimicking the neural network which exists in our human brain. Then the other area is fuzzy logic, and the last one is genetic algorithm. Genetic algorithms, they are based on the concept of DNA, right? So how the DNAs are getting emerged and they are generating different solutions, or how they are applying various genome pairing and the other stuffs. So based on that, genetic algorithms are also trying to generate the possible solutions. Right. So these are some soft computing areas where you can also apply your research work, or you can have your research work. Now let us talk about the latest trends of AI in the year of 2023. The first one is creative or generative AI. This is what I was talking about. That's about generative pre-trained transformers. And the current version, which is right now available, which has been proposed by OpenAI, acquired by Microsoft, that's GPT-3 or GPT-4. And the same has been used with the application development of ChatGPT. DALI, actually it is a it's a mixer of two different words. The first word is Salvador Dali. That person was that's a very famous painter name. At the same time, the other word has been taken is LA. So when you are just combining these two words, that is Dali and LA, and they have created a word called Dali. Right. So when you are applying the text will be analyzed, and on that basis, the picture will be created by the artificial intelligence system. Right. So this is how the pictures can be created on the basis of textual representation of various characteristics or the attributes of a particular object. Right. So that much of intelligence has been applied with the machines. Uh, the next thing is about greater human AI human collaboration, and that is basically called collaborative robots. In almost every areas nowadays, we are having robots, or we can say cobots, whether it's like agriculture, whether it is automotive, whether it is hospitals or medical, or whether it is company manufacturing or food industry, wherever you are going, there is a case of implementation of collaborative robots or cobots. They are handling the task previously which were being taken care by the human beings. The next thing is about ethics and the regulations. That's nowadays need to have more focus. The reason being, with the introduction of AI, some unethical practices have also been emerged, and there needs to apply some sort of controlling on such kind of unethical practices, and that's why this area is also getting emerged. and that is keeping watch on some unethical practices if they are getting a press. Say, for example, what I have said with Dali. Suppose if someone is using Dali and they are generating the pictures which are of a pornographic sense, then automatically this ethics and regulation committee or this practices, they will try to just put the control on such kind of things, and they will take the immediate actions, right? So that is needed very much nowadays uh, to have control on such kind of malpractices. The next thing is about uh, democratization with the help of low code or even no code AIs, right? So if you see the case of Google or some other softwares, they are having billions of lines of the code, but nowadays the things are very much easy to design any kind of chatbot. Say, for example, if you consider the case of a previous decade, the chatbots were not that much easy to be designed, but nowadays even the person who is not having any kind of programming knowledge, they can also design chatbots with the help of different tools, right? So democratization will help the human being, even though they are having less coding or programming knowledge, they can develop such kind of systems, right? The next thing is about sophisticated cybersecurity. So, in the domain of cybersecurity, also the AI is getting utilized specifically for crime detection or identifying the vulnerabilities and mitigating the threats of those vulnerabilities. So, that is also emerging. The next thing is about digital twinning. Now, here there comes the case of Omniverse, which was proposed by NVIDIA. So, with this digital twinning or omniverse, the companies are able to have digital twin objects. So, say for example, here you are having any kind of inventory or a kind of store, inventory store, and that is getting mimicked, and virtual objects will automatically get created on omniverse, and with the help of that different say for example, there is a case of BMW was capable enough to handle the stocks and production lines with the help of omniverse, right? So a virtual world is getting created, just like metaverse. Here there is a case of omniverse, right? So Nvidia has helped too many companies uh, to have optimization of their manufacturing processes and in some other ways also, right? The next thing is about AI in motoring, and that is known very well, autonomous cars. Driverless cars nowadays, they are there in experimentation, as well as it is possible that in near future in Dubai they'll be launched, so drivers will not be required, but at the same time they are not so much easy, right? So to design such kind of driverless cars or autonomous cars, that require a complete implementation of artificial intelligence with almost coverage of all the domains, right? Because the other thing which is very much important for this autonomous cars is these autonomous vehicles should be capable enough to communicate with each other and to create a virtual picture through which they can avoid the collisions or the accidents, because if they are communicating with each other and they are exchanging the data that where right now they are, right? So automatically that will help the automated cars or autonomous cars to avoid the collisions or the accidents, right? So that's right now they're in research that how this communication can be enabled and how this will just make it secure to drive the cars, right? Or to make it safer. The next thing is about AI for personalization, specifically in the domain of e-commerce, entertainment, as well as workplaces. E-commerce, we know very well that production recommendation systems are already there. In case of entertainment also, uh, the suggestions can be given by the systems that what kind of movies you should watch based on your exploration of different things on the search engines, as well as previously what kind of movies you have seen, so that will recommend you. In the same way, for workplaces also, some sort of personalization can be done with the help of AI. And the research says that 80% of the employees in the US, they were able to improve their efficiency with the help of usage of AI. So this much of improvement is there in the industry also with the support of AI. The next thing is about AI in voice technology. Voice biometrics, that's a very well adapted and mature technology. So I'll not talk about voice biometrics, that's already there in implementation. But voice cloning, that's more important nowadays. The reason being, let us say that what is happening with our movies. Say, for example, recently the movie RRR that was being released in different languages. Now, what is happening that for each and every language, you need to have the voice of different actors, right? And it is possible that, say, for example, whether it is a case of Ram Charan or if it is a case of Junior NTR, it is not possible that they'll be able to speak in Kannada or Malayalam or Tamil or Hindi. So definitely you have to take the support of other actors from that particular domain or which are having fluency in those languages. But this voice cloning technology now will help the producers or the directors. They can now have the generation of the voice or the statements in the same tone which is of a particular actor, right? So the voice of RRR, Junior NTR or Ram Charan, that can be used to generate the dialogues in other languages also, rather than utilizing or using some other actor's voice. Say, for example, in the movie of this, I don't remember exactly. Yes, Lion King. Shah Rukh Khan has given his speech along with some other actors also. So they will not be requiring Shah Rukh Khan or the other actors. Instead of that, whoever is the actual actor, uh, this is animation movie. So whoever is the actual actor who has given the speech in English, the same speech can be used to generate the dialogues in Hindi also, and that can be delivered. So voice cloning helpful to the movie industry also, whether it's Bollywood or Hollywood. But the producers will be finding it more helpful in future. The next thing is about AI in medicine. So in medical or health industry also, the AI is getting used. Say, for example, to have a precise diagnosis of the patient, you can have the support of AI. At the same time, virtual examination and clinical trials. Say, for example, suppose you have been given a particular dosage of medicine which is there in clinical trial, then what is its impact as far as your heartbeats are concerned, or your blood circulation is concerned, or the diabetic and the other aspects are concerned, or oxygen level is concerned. So all these things can easily be controlled, or the data can be captured with the help of smart devices, right? And then after that can be collected on the central server and that can be analyzed. So even though the people who are there at remote places, the clinical trials can be applied, and then after it can be controlled. So you can have the results even though there is an absence of those people at your premises. So artificial intelligence will help decentralizing the clinical trials. At the same time, emotional AI technologies will also be there. Say, for example, the people are suffering from the autism or some other uh, uh, what I can say that yes, some uh, mental illness like depressions or uh, some other mental health issues, then artificial intelligence will help to cure from such kind of diseases, or artificial intelligence will help the doctors to identify such symptoms in early stage, and early medication or the treatment can be given to the patients and can be cured, right? So these are a few of the domains which are quite popular or which can be uh, taken into consideration for the year 2023, considering the AI. Now, let us move ahead with the next case, that is of artificial intelligence and mobile computing. So, mobile computing nowadays, again, almost with every mobile, in any of the application, if you see, they are using artificial intelligence. And when there is a case of designing even the processors, they are considering artificial intelligence. They are equipped, the processors are equipped with neural engines or machine learning engines or AI engines. Say, for example, if you take the case of Google Tensor 2 or Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 or Dimensity 9200, they all are equipped with neural engines. So if you see here, this is the architecture of Snapdragon 8 plus Gen 1. So here there is a case of AI engine. So they are using 7th gen Qualcomm AI engine, which is quite faster compared to the previous versions. It is giving you 20% better performance, and it is also helping you to have more sensor capabilities, right? This is the case of Snapdragon. In the same way, this is the case of Google Tensor, which is having machine learning engine, Google's machine learning engine, which will make it more and more faster and efficient. In the same way, this is the case of MediaTek Dimensity 9200, where there is a usage of artificial intelligence engine. Right? So here, AI MediaTek APU 690 is getting used, which enjoy better AI performance with new 6th gen AI featuring extreme power saving technology. So it is giving 35% higher performance, 25% lower power usage, as well as 25% improved video SR efficiency. Why these neural engines were introduced? Do you know? The main reason was that previously whatever tasks were handled, that was just related with only routine computing processes, but nowadays more and more tasks, they are related with image processing, right? And the existing processes which were there, sorry, the previous processes which were there, they were not capable enough to handle such kind of image processing, complex image processing task, and that's why there was an introduction to neural engines, right? So AI engines or neural engines, they have been introduced with the next generation processors of mobile computing, as well as they have also been introduced with processors for desktops and laptops. Now let us move ahead with artificial intelligence versus machine learning versus deep learning. Though I'll not go with difference, but instead of that, I'll directly start with the machine learning. So what is machine learning? Considering the definition which has been given by Tom Michel, this is one of the most standard definition. It is saying that a computer program is said to learn from experience E with respect to some classes of task T and performance measure P if its performance at task in T as measured by P improves with experience E. So in general, what is the case that whenever you are doing a particular task T at this stage, and it is being done for a very long time period, so based on this experience, the machine or the system, computer-based system, will try to learn from the errors or mistakes, and based on that it will try to improve its performance. And suppose if really there is an improvement in the performance, then actually it is called machine learning, right? So this is a general definition which is acceptable throughout the world, and it has been proposed in the book of Tom Michel. There are 5 different steps which are involved in the process of machine learning. The first one is about gathering the data from various sources. The next thing is about cleaning the data to have homogeneity of the data. The next thing is model building and selecting the right machine learning algorithm. The next is about gaining insights from the model's results. The last one is visualization. Right? So these are 5 steps of any machine learning process. As far as machine learning is concerned, by and large, there are 3 types. The first one is supervised learning, second one is unsupervised learning, and the third one is reinforcement learning. Considering supervised learning, there are again 2 subtypes. The first one is classification and the second one is regression. Considering unsupervised learning, we are having 2 different types. First one is clustering and the second one is association analysis. Now moving on, different algorithms which are being used for different types and subtypes of machine learning. For classification purpose, we are having KNN, decision tree, random forest, naive Bayes, various neural network based algorithm, as well as support vector machines. Along with that, there are some other algorithms also, but these are the algorithms which are quite popular in the domain of AI, classification. Considering the regression, we are having simple linear regression, multiple linear regression, logistic, as well as polynomial regression, as well as you can also think about lasso and ridge regression also. Then moving ahead with unsupervised learning, we have various clustering algorithms like k-means, hierarchical, agglomerative, as well as DB-scan. In addition to that, we are having some other algorithms also. This is not just a complete list, this is a partial list. For considering association analysis, we have a priori algorithm. For reinforcement learning, we can use Q-learning, SARSA, as well as DQ. So this is a very short list for various machine learning techniques. Areas we know very well for traffic alerts, social media, transportation and commuting, products recommendation, virtual personal assistants, self-driving cars, dynamic pricing, Google Translate, online video streaming, and fraud detection. These all are the areas of machine learning. And suppose you want to work in the domain of machine learning, you can have or you can equip yourself with the languages like Python, R, MATLAB, SAS, that is statistical analysis system, then IBM SPSS or Julia. Julia is the latest one in this area. And I hope, or I'm expecting that in next 5 years, it is possible that it will be quite popular, just like right now or nowadays Python is, right? Now let us move ahead with the concept of deep learning. Deep learning is actually a subset of machine learning in artificial intelligence that has networks capable of learning unsupervised from data that is unstructured or unreliable. It's not always necessary that deep learning is working only in the domain of unsupervised learning, but it is also working in the domain of supervised learning. Sometimes you can have supervised learning also, right? This is a basic neural network architecture where you can have three different categories of layers in your neural network architecture. The first one is input layers, second one is hidden layers, and the third one is output layers. It is possible that you can have multiple multiple neurons in input layers as well as multiple neurons in output layers. There is no restriction as far as number of hidden layers are concerned, as well as neurons in this hidden layers are concerned. I will give you an idea about this at later stage with one demo. As far as applications of deep learning is concerned, there are various applications of deep learning. The first one is in automatic speech recognition. Then you can consider about image processing, visual art processing, natural image processing, drug discovery and toxicology, customer relationship management, recommendation systems, bioinformatics, medical image analysis, mobile advertisement, then financial fraud detection. Now let us move ahead with a demonstration of ML usage of deep learning usage. So this is teachable machine. This demonstration has been designed by Google actually, and this is for the purpose of classification. And it is using the concept of machine deep learning also for image classification. So here we can have multiple classes. So I'll be using three different classes of flowers, and I'll be uploading various images of flowers to train the model. So first of all, we will be taking image of particular class. Say for example, here we are having marigold. So 1, 2, and 3. So we are taking this three images from one class. In the same way, we'll be taking another set of three images from second, that is rows. So rows 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll be taking images of sunflower, that is 1, 2, and 3. Now we are having images of three different classes of flowers. The first one is marigold, second one is rose, and the third one is sunflower. Now we will train the model. So it will be using convolutional neural network for preparing this model. So training is to be done with the help of these training images. Now it has started taking various rounds or epochs. Basically, it is called epochs. So there is a set of 50 epochs or 50 rounds for training. Once it will be now it has been trained. So now we will take a kind of test image from various classes of images. So we will take this marigold 3 and let us see. Yeah. So it has been identified as class 1. In the same way, if you take the image of sunflower, it will be identified as class 3. So this is percentage accuracy, which is getting matched with a particular class of images. So here it has been identified as class 3 image. In the same way, if you are taking the image of rose, so in the same way, you can use to train your model for biometrics. So facial recognition, suppose you want to apply, then you can have facial recognition to be applied with the same. Or if you want to develop your model or train your model for fingerprint recognition, you can have the same thing. Or suppose in traffic management, suppose you want to train your model for identification of the vehicles, again, the same thing can be done, right? So this is how the actually it has been developed with a tensor. So Tensor again is a TensorFlow and Keras. They are being developed by Google with the help of Python. Python is the basic language which is being used for TensorFlow and Keras. So they are working with deep learning, and this is how deep learning model will be working. Let us take another demo for a neural network. So here also there is a case of TensorFlow. So artificial neural network simulation has been shown here. So this is again the problem of classification. So let us have some of the samples. They have been just plotted here. And now we are having this kind of network. So if you see here, we are having two different input neural network, input neurons, and four neurons are there as a hidden, and two neurons are there in terms of output. Right? There are two hidden layers. In first hidden layer, there are four neurons, and in second hidden layer, there are two neurons, and this is output. Now let us see. Suppose I want to add more number of neurons here, then I can have four neurons in each hidden layer. In the same way, if you want to add more number of hidden layers, that's also possible. So here, suppose you want to have three hidden layers, and each is having four neurons, that's also possible. Now, suppose you want to start training it and performing the classification. So that will draw the boundary, that will classify the objects in two different classes. So if you see here, this is the boundary which has been drawn here. So this clear boundaries are defining two different classes of objects. So more number of epochs will give you more efficiency or more accurate results, right? So more is the number of epochs, more will be accuracy, but time consumption will again be more. So now here, it is possible that suppose you want to training to test data ratio, if you want to increase, that is also possible. So 60% for training and 40% for training. Suppose you want to make it more than 70% for training and 30% for training, that's also possible. Suppose you want to apply the noise constraint, that's also possible. If you want to apply bit size, that's also possible. And if you want to make the changes with this neural network architecture, that's also possible. Say, for example, now you want to have three input neurons, and suppose you want to have more number of hidden layers, that's also possible. Suppose you want to minimize the number of neurons in hidden layers, that's also possible. So this is a kind of simulator. Right, so suppose you want to have understanding of basic working of this neural network architecture, how these neurons are getting identified, and how they are applying various features to be applied with different neurons in different hidden layers, you can easily understand. So this is how artificial neural network will be working, and you can have such kind of simulation with this simulator. So this is completion of the basic presentation on artificial intelligence and latest trends of AI in various domains. This is about fundamental research and applied research in the domain of artificial intelligence. I'll not go in depth about all these research domains. But yes, suppose if someone is there who wants to do the research in this domain, they can pick the areas like AI model and toolkit, fingerprint recognition, voice UI, that is voice-based user interfaces, video recognition and prediction, and then deep learning for new sensors or deep learning for graphics and so on, right? So these all are the AI research domains. Some of them are fundamental research domains and some of them are applied research domains. That's all from my side, and thank you all for patiently listening to me. If you have any kind of question, you can put your questions in Google Meet. Let me check what kind of
Yes,
questions
sir.
are there.
There are some of the questions in message box, so you can take up one by one.
Yeah, I think this is message box, right? Yes,
Yes,
the
sir.
first
Yes, sir.
question is from Jameshwar Prasad Sahu. So, how AI is different from machine learning? AI is a kind of umbrella under which you'll be having various domains. I think from my presentation, you may have already understood that what are different domains of AI. And machine learning, again, is a domain of AI itself. So AI, when it is getting applied, it's not possible that you are using just a single domain of AI. But nowadays, there will be a combination of different domains of AI, and by and large, machine learning is the one which is very common in almost all the AI research areas. Uh, the next thing is how SCARA robot is articulated. Actually, not that much aware about SCARA. But by and large, when you're talking about the robots, it depends. When if you just see the video, if you just search on YouTube about the innovation which happened in Honda about this humanoid called Asimo. Then, in the decade of 1990s or 1995, and after that, when initially they started, the robot was not even capable of just be there in the standing position. And when it was taking the run, it was always just falling on the ground. But nowadays, if you just see the current uh, the current status of the SEMO, you can check that it is even capable of just providing you the messages, or it can speak and it can even sing, or it can take the steps and it can pick the objects, and even it can communicate with you. Right? So this is how there is an emergence in the field of robotics. What is the role of generative AI? Generative AI, I think I have already talked about GPT, generative pre-trained transformers. So nowadays, when we are using ChatGPT 4 or Bard, there are different usages. The people, they are even writing the papers with the help of ChatGPT. They are appearing in the exams with the help of ChatGPT. Say, for example, if you are appearing for the, or if you want to prepare your assignments, then ChatGPT is helping you. Though there are some biasness, as well as it is possible that you cannot have a complete trust on ChatGPT or Bard. It is not at all possible because they are not 100% perfect unless and until you are using your own intelligence, right? So you have to filter the content which has been generated by ChatGPT or Bard, but they are quite useful nowadays. So generative AI, as I have already told, that that has already vanished in the domain of these call centers, and there is no need to have nowadays a call center. Instead of that, the chatbots, they are now handling the customer complaints, and they are answering the customer complaints. So that is how it is getting used nowadays. How AI is using image processing concept. Yes. So image processing, when you are talking about it, artificial neural network. So ANN is having different categories of algorithms. So when you talk about it, so you might be having the concept of convolutional neural network or recurrent neural networks, that is RNN, YOLO, And with YOLO also, you are having different algorithms like YOLO 1 to YOLO 7. YOLO 7 is the latest algorithm which is being used for the purpose of deep learning. So when you talk about deep learning and AI, this image processing is only capable to perform the task with the help of deep learning, which is again the subdomain of AI only. Ultimately, it is subdomain of machine learning, and machine learning is a subdomain of AI. Right? So AI is handling machine image processing with the latest algorithms. Right? So how AI is using image processing? Mainly plant disease detection. Yes. So one of my research scholar right now, he's working with plant disease detection, and we are working with the help of this convolutional neural network. We have we have used various algorithms, and we are trying to assess the performance of different algorithms also, and we are trying to apply ensembling techniques to just detect the disease or to classify the disease of various plants. And we are going with this. Actually, we are dealing with castor oil as well as two other plants for plant disease classification and detection, and suggesting the remedies for handling such kind of diseases. So different deep learning algorithms, they are getting used for plant disease detection. Sumo logic, actually, I'm not that much aware. Fuzzy logic, I know very well, but I'm not aware about the sumo logic. Practical ideas are there. Yeah, practical ideas. I have given demonstration about artificial neural network as well as how this TensorFlow and Keras, they are working with convolutional neural network or recurrent neural network for image classification or clustering of various images or clustering of the data. So that is getting used here. So practical consideration, if you want to have, then I'll be sharing my presentation with the WhatsApp group. And I have mentioned those links from where you can get the idea about how to use this simulators for practical purpose. Yes, where can we use IBM SPSS? SPSS is mainly for data analytics and data science. So if you are there in the domain of data science or data analytics, then you can use IBM SPSS. There are some other options also, like you can use SAS. You can also go with Python or R. Right? Yes, Julia, again, it can be used for the same purpose, like how we are using Python. Python is getting used for image processing, or it is used for dynamics and visualization. It is used for data science, and so on. So Julia, in the same way, can be used for the purpose of machine learning. Basically, machine learning nowadays is being getting used along with the big data for data science. So Julia, again, can be used for machine learning. Uh, as far as difference between IBM and Python is concerned, first thing is that SPSS is a proprietary thing. You need to purchase it. Python is open source, and SPSS is having some limitations. It is working only with the data analytics and data science, while Python is having no restriction at all. It can be used for normal programming. It can be used for web services or web application development. It can be used for data analytics and data visualization. It can be used for data science. It can be used for image processing or deep learning or machine learning. So there is no specific rule which has been designed for Python. Python is almost performing its task in every domain. Right? So that is what I wanted to tell you. Yeah. A public surveillance, I've already told that with the help of deep learning technologies, you can have public surveillance. Whatever images are getting generated with the help of CCTV cameras, or the camera networks, they are getting analyzed continuously. And suppose there is a hint about criminal activity, then automatically it can be automatically messaged, or it will be intimated to the department, enforcement department, and they will take the necessary actions. At the same time, on the airports also, or in public areas, you can keep watch on some criminals, if they are appearing or not, or if there is a person on the airport with the criminal background, right? So that can be easily identified, and the notification can be sent to the enforcement department. Uh, Dangers of self-driving cars and drones. Yeah, definitely. When we are talking about AI, definitely they are having disadvantages or they are having cons. Not even a single technology is there which is having no cons at all or no disadvantage at all. It is creating harm for individual person also. It is affecting individuals' privacy, and as far as the jobs are concerned, it has also affected jobs. So that's why there is a need to have application of AI in an ethical way. Right? There are dangers, definitely. Whether it is a case of self-driving cars, more number of chances for accidents will be there. I'm not saying that it is 100% perfect, but there are chances. Those still the research is going on as far as this self-driving cars or autonomous cars or autonomous vehicles are concerned. But I think the chances of accidents will be lesser in future. And as far as drones are concerned, again, drones they are having various usages, right? So drone-based deliveries are there nowadays. If they have been proposed or they are there in usage, you can deliver the medicines with the help of drones. You can deliver the couriers with the help of objects with the help of drones. At the same time, what I've said that one of the Israel-based companies they have already performed thousands of trials with a drone taxi. So definitely in future, this drone taxis will just make the public taxis obsolete. It's possible. I'm not saying that it will be 100% perfect, but because ultimately, when it will get popularized or more number of drone taxis again will be adapted, the traffic will be there in the sky also. So we cannot say that that will be always advantageous in future. No. Again, there will be traffic in the sky. So security will always be the concern, whether it is drone, whether it is self-driving car, or usage of AI is there. Uh, Uh, I think I will not be capable enough to answer all these questions just now at this stage. It will take more time because if you are talking about cybersecurity issues, when you talk about cybersecurity, again, AI will be helpful to you, considering the usage of deep learning and machine learning, because for investigation of the frauds, that will be quite useful to the cybercrime department or cyber cell. Say, for example, when there comes a case of packet sniffing or spoofing, or when there are some vulnerabilities or financial frauds, then you can easily identify the behavior of the cyber criminals, and you can have some sort of warning mechanisms that will alert a particular person on the basis of activity which has been initiated by the cyber attacker or the hacker, right? So it involves deep learning, machine learning, both, and it has to do the network traffic analysis also. The packet and the packet content in the network, again, it is required to be analyzed, and on that basis, again, number of things can be avoided, right? So the domain of cybersecurity, it is involving or it is taking help of machine learning and deep learning for different areas, right? Whether it is a case of audit also. So IT audit may also take the help of machine learning and deep learning, which are again the subdomains of AI. So that will be quite useful. So that's why what I said that the person who just have created this chat GPT and GPT-4, yesterday he visited India and he has generated the same warning that if we are not having ethical AI, that will be dangerous to the human society, definitely. So we have to put the controls, we have to apply the rules and regulations, we have to have provision in our legal system about ethical use of AI. Then and only then that will be helpful to the society. Otherwise, that is more dangerous. Sure, I will share a few other simulation tool links with the WhatsApp group. So I hope I have answered most of the questions. Uh, Thank you again to patiently listening me and joining this session. Thanks again. Over to Kalpesh sir. Kalpesh sir.
Thank you, Meva sir, for the informative session. Uh, Let me share my screen. Can you please stop sharing your screen, sir? Yeah. I hope my screen is visible, Meva sir.
Yes, it's visible.
Thank you. So these are the list of our upcoming webinars in which we do have next webinar is on 24th of June, PLSQL subprograms, that is standalone procedures, functions, and packages by Dr. Jaipal Singh Gohil, and the timing is as it is 11 a.m. After that, we do have data analytics using R by Professor Vivek Gondalia on 1st of July at 11 a.m. And then we do have a first chat of web designing by Professor Teed Bhadesia on 8th of July at 11 a.m. These are the courses offered by Faculty of Computer Applications, Marwadi University. Under UG, we do have BCA Honors with specialization of Cloud Computing and Cybersecurity. BSc IT is there, and BSc Data Science is there. While in case of PG, we do have MCA, MSc Cybersecurity and Cyber Law, as well as MSc Data Sciences there. You can be in touch with her through our social media platforms, like on Facebook. We are available at Marwadi MCA. Kindly like and like the page so that you will get the details about upcoming webinars. On Instagram, we are available at Marwadi_education_FCA. On LinkedIn, we are at Marwadi FCA. And the most important, the recording of this webinar will be available on our YouTube channel called FCA Marwadi University. You can like and subscribe our YouTube channel for the recordings of all the webinars. So thank you all from my side. Thank you, Dr. Divyakant Meva, for providing such a wonderful webinar. This is the link of feedback. Kindly give us your feedback so that we can improve ourselves in terms of upcoming webinars. I will share the same feedback link in the WhatsApp group also, so that you can give the webinar feedback at your convenient time. Thank you all of you once again. Thank you, Dr. Divyakant Meva, and thank you all.